Hey, welcome to Square Body Stuff. I'm Chad. We're going to be trying to get the hood back on old Squeaky here. In the last video of Squeaky, we got this awesome hood scoop done on him. Thanks again to Ryan with Streetcar Chronicles for gifting me my Concho's old scoop. We got it set up with the base. We're sticking up a little bit more. So now we've got to take this hood and cut a big old hole in the middle of it to fit it. Now this hood is not in pristine condition. As you can see, somebody prior to my ownership has braced the crumple zone on this. Apparently it probably looks like was bent pretty bad at one point in time or another. So they've got both sides booger welded on there, and you know, I'm just gonna leave that because that's just part of the character of the truck, I guess. Now my plans is I want to go ahead and cut out everything inside this area here to lighten the hood up a little bit, and it'll just make it that much easier to make the hole, just to, you know, for weight savings, because race truck. I don't want to get too far up into here. It's just going to stay right down in there. That way it still retains a little bit of rigidity. Back here, we'll just have to see how that plays out. But for now, I'm just going to cut just around this line, all the way around. And then see how far we're going to have to come back here, measure everything out, and try to get this hood back on Squeaky. Is this thing on? Well, now that I got that all cut out of the way, as you can see, there was supposed to be these spots of panel bond, whatever it is. Now, if your hood is in better shape than this one was, that bracing should be glued down to that, but mine wasn't. So I'll scrape some of these things off. I'm not really worried about it. And my lines, you know, may not be the straightest, but we don't need straight lines where we're going. Now what I'm thinking to get my measurement for the back of the scoop is to leave the hood upside down like this, because right here is the line where this weather stripping goes. So I'll be, you know, just, it don't have to be perfect. I want to have a little bit of gap there. So I'm going to measure here. I mean, it looks to be about 4 inches, 4.5, 5 inches, 4.5 inches. But I'll measure that and get started on where I want to cut out this lower bracing, because I'm going to have to cut some of that out. And also my width from the front of the scoop to the front of the hood, I'm not real sure yet. We'll get to that point. Now, if you've got a really nice hood and a really nice car and you're wanting to put a hole in the hood, you might want to take a few extra precautions to make sure everything's a little more perfect. You can measure, you know, I could have went around the perimeter where I just cut out and actually made a nice line, but for what I'm doing with Squeaky. I'm not real worried about precision. So don't follow exactly what I'm doing if you're really wanting to put a hole in your hood on something really nice. This ain't gonna be completely hacked up, but I'm not taking every little precaution and really getting super accurate measurements. But it'll look good. It'll serve its function whenever I get the hood on there. And that's the main point with this truck is, well, the form will follow the function. Yeah, that's how I usually roll. From the center of that gasket to the back of the scoop is about 4 inches. So I was pretty close there. So what we'll do is measure 4 inches, and I'm gonna cut back a little bit, probably go at least 3.5, maybe 3. Give myself a little bit of wiggle room. I'd rather have a little extra gap, because these hoods, whenever you open them, they actually, with the way the hinges act, they actually kind of go forward and up. So you want to have some room behind the scoop for it to come up. You can always cut extra off after the fact, but you also want to make sure you cut enough off that when you're fitting it up, that it's not going to be a big pain in the butt. So I think I'm going to go 3 inches, because that'll give me a whole inch of play. Top of the scoop measures out to be 16.5 long by 11 inches wide. That bracing underneath, I cut it out 13 inches. That gives me an extra inch on each side. And I actually came back another extra ½ an inch towards the back of it, just so I have enough room on that bracing. Now I'm gonna kind of roughly measure out and put some tape down. That way when I draw the lines, it's not on the metal or the paint. Yeah, I don't really need to do that on this one, but I'm going to try to show you a little bit of how to do it right. So I'm going to kind of roughly measure it out, put some tape down, and then start measuring off the center of the hood for my width and my length. From the bracing underneath to the back of the hood is roughly about 8 inches. So I'll be able to come back here, go 8 inches. That's where I'll make my mark on the back. And then I'm probably gonna leave an extra several inches on the front just to make sure it clears the scoop when the hood's going up and down. I drilled some holes in the corners just to give a nice radius for whenever I cut out the straight lines. So now all I gotta do is just go zip, 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 and I'll have a hole. And hopefully it fits. Yeah, it should fit. Yeah. So now is a good time to oil my hinges before I put the springs in, because I can get some just regular engine oil. Works great for them. Actually, that's what the owner's manuals on these trucks recommend. Just 30 weight or whatever engine oil you have. All right, it's time to get this hood on. Now I do suggest employing some help to get these on, but I'm just kind of here by myself. Can't find Stumpy. Who knows where he's at? So I'm just gonna get this thing on myself and hope I don't hurt anything. You know, to be honest with you folks, I was kind of digging the look without the hood, but I think it looks pretty good now with the hood. Bam. Looks pretty good. Doesn't look like a huge gaping hole, and it is pretty close on the backside when you're raising the hood up. I may go ahead and take the springs out. They do put a little bit of extra pressure on the hood now it's so light. I may leave them in there. I don't know. Let's kind of see how it happens. But for right now, I don't have a hood latch. It's just the pins is all I've got holding the hood down. So we'll just see how it works out. But for right now, old Squeaky's looking pretty tough. I figure I'll back him out and get him in the sunlight, see what he looks like. Kind of get a good overall view of how that hood scoop and everything looks. I'm pretty happy with it. Looks pretty well centered. Don't look too bad. All right, everybody. I appreciate you watching. Yeah. Squeaky's kind of coming along pretty nicely. I never really dreamt that this truck, what, two or 3 years ago when I got him, I never thought he'd turn into anything like this. Now, I know he's not everybody's flavor, but I've honestly had nothing but compliments on this truck, the way he's turned out. A little bit different, a little bit unique, but that's Squeaky, because race truck. So we're gonna end it off here. Appreciate you all watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell, share this with your friends, share it with people you don't like. I don't know. But keep on watching, and until next time, y'all keep your square bodies rolling, and we'll catch you later.